Now we're on the human condition and we can share it, personal and human.
What have you been up to?
This, like, it's just this nonstop. We the people, really.
Got the ticker.
The ticker's nice. People's response to it so far has been really good. I mean, it's pretty cool to look at because you don't think about that shit when you're sitting with 20 of your friends. You don't think, I wonder what the fuck our economic impact is. You know what I mean? What could we do between 25 of us? Oh, if we spent 1.5, if we spent our money just in our little community, that's $1.5 million that year. We're millionaires already. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
don't think about that shit. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Are we in Zoom or yeah? Did I see anybody else on? No, nobody else is on here. What was that shit? That's a noise I never heard before. Does it mean something? Yeah, we're live, right? You see us?
I'm just going through Zoom.
Oh, are you? All right. Yeah, I'm trying to look on Facebook. I mean, we need a fucking Jamie in this bitch for sure. But I gotta stop caring on this stuff because some people are so used to me being a jackass. You know what I mean? Coming around and fumbling for. I was just gonna start this thing like 10 minutes ago and eat Reese's cups and just stare at the camera. Fucking, because why not? And then, but I didn't. I ate them to myself. What do you? So you want to tell people where you are, what you're doing right now?
Sure. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
That's pretty much traveling out west, going to Mount Shasta, having a little spiritual time. And then yeah, man, I'm gonna go down to Sequoia National Park. And then I might dip over to LA for a minute. I'm not sure. My brother's got some stuff going on. I think he wants me to go to Vegas, which is pretty exciting. And so I might just modify everything, cut Cali short, and then come back here. And you know, I'm house sitting. It just seems like everyone's going to the Super Bowl out here, and like the Broncos aren't even in it. But you know, I know some football players that were in the NFL, so I'm like house sitting for the 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Are you really?
Yeah. So I'll be working and just, I told the people, I was like, look, man, I only want to work part-time, but I'll work 10-hour days. You give me 3 10-hour days and we're golden. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm cool with it. And then like you get to change it because it's through a temp agency, believe it or not. It's a weed temp agency.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do Michigan too.
That's crap. So, actually, I need there's some older people in the program that have been asking about that kind of work, and it's perfect for them. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if I should say her name on here, but she asked me about it. I said, oh, I talked to Sean, but I didn't know they had temp agents. That's so.
Yeah, man, hemp temps. They're part of Michigan too. All really? She's got to do is go to hemp temps and go to the website. Colorado's a little different. I had to throw some money down for a med badge, but it was like $100. I was like, dude, $100, and you know, I'll probably make, you know, 3 or 4 grand, and it's just a good thing, dude. Like, you know, 30 hours, they're gonna pay me $20 an hour, and you know, I don't have any rent due, and I'm not paying any bills or anything, so it's pretty much puts food in my stomach and makes sure that I have enough gas money to get home, you know.
So you need gas money.
You do.
Well,
so yeah, man, everything's.
We got Glenn on here. Can't see you, Glenn. Can you hear us?
I can. I can hear you. I can hear you guys.
Okay, yeah, we got you. We can hear you now.
So I need
And then Tom is doing something right now. Zach said he's coming on, right?
I'll be right
Yeah,
there.
No matter, we can rock it out. Let me see what Tom's saying though. Tom's down in Puerto Rico and doing whatever he's doing. He's running late. How you doing, Glenn?
good. If I get my camera going, I'll be really well.
Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of cameras in here, and I can never get them going right. So I've just made it my thing. I was telling Sean I was just going to start this thing like 10 minutes early and sit here and eat Reese's cups and stare at the camera. I mean, why not? Like, I might as well embrace it.
Right.
So I recorded it on Zoom instead, and that'll be in the bloopers. So I guess we can wait a little bit, but see what Tom's doing there. Living out of what? Tails at the moment? I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Anyway, so Tom is Tom and Glenn, so you know, and I don't know if he's going to pop on here or not. I don't know what he's saying actually, but he might. So he's the guy that basically introduced NFTs to the world. So I don't know if you remember, just one day everybody's talking about NFTs, and it was after his Kings of Leon campaign that launched it. And next thing you know, the next day, literally the next day, everybody and their mother is talking about NFTs in the future. And so are you familiar with NFTs at all, Glenn?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Not in great depth though. Not in great depth like you.
Well, I mean, I'm still, you know, I get the concepts, right? And I get the concepts because it's things I've already thought about. You know, I've isolated problems that we've had in our economy back in my freshman year when I went to Northern. I didn't want to go for finance and international business. Like, I was interested in, I really wanted to be an astronaut, like that's, and I wanted to play football. But astronaut, that's what I wanted to do. And my counselor in high school, she said, you know, we're pretty poor. She said, how are you going to make money doing that? That's what she said to me. And I didn't have an answer. She said, well, you speak well, you know, you could be a great attorney, but that's a lot of schooling. But you could come right out of high school and you could be a stockbroker. And you know, next thing you know, I'm watching Wall Street, the Michael Douglas movie, and I was like, all right, well, finance and international business it is. So I went up to Northern for that and football. And then I remember first, it's freshman year, macroeconomics. I'm arguing with these professors. I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm like, because I know street economics, right? We have something, our money is our money, and there's something backing that all the time. So, and you know, when someone's trying to bullshit you, and I'm like, no, who's making these numbers up? These numbers are bullshit. Somebody's, I ain't buying into these numbers. And I wound up veering off into more philosophy and psychology. I didn't really fit in the economics classes, but I learned it. And I learned what bullshit they were, from my mentality. And you know, lo and behold, here we are. And NFT, something like NFTs, crypto seemed to be the answer. It's not something I could have conceived of because it's not my world. But I know, as soon as they were laid out, I was like, yep, yeah, that makes absolute sense. I get it. So that's my knowledge of them. And it's kind of like one of those things where it's perfect when it lands. It's not perfect, but when the concept hits you from people who know it better, and you're like, yeah, I got it. So I've really been into it that way, in that I know it has the ability to get us out from under this seemingly nefarious. It may not be nefarious, it may just be the nature of humanity right now, but this system that we're stuck in. And you see it. You see how the system's freaking out. You see it. I've never seen the powerful people of this planet act the way they are. You know, they're leaving. they're jumping ship. They're down in different countries, investing in very obvious ways on the surface. I've never seen that. That's never happened. I think they know, I hope they know their time might be up. What's your take on it? We lose you? We lose you, Glenn? We lost Glenn. I think those nefarious forces came and got him. Can you hear me, Sean?
I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Well, what's your take on it, Sean?
You know, Mike, I mean, I think I think you're going to start seeing a lot of jockeying for position. I think the U.S. is going to try to come out with their own cryptocurrency, the U.S. crypto dollar, and try to compete with all the other cryptocurrencies and the Bitcoins and the Ethereums and the NFTs. You know, my stepdad and I talk about this stuff a lot. He seems to think that the United States government will eventually make crypto illegal in the United States.
They better prep themselves for a revolution, man, because that's they would like to. I know they would like to. But there's a number where if you don't have, I think 71% approval from the populace, you're at high risk of revolution. So they know not to hit that number, right? So part of what we're seeing with the police state, I think that's somewhat of a war on crypto, or a fear tactic to make you feel safer with crypto in their hands. That's really what they do. That's what Kent talked about, right? They trick you into believing you need them.
Right.
We are seeing that positioning right now.
You know, I just think that this is going to be a real rough couple of years. You know, the 1.7 trillion spending bill, each politician got 2.5 million for security detail, you know, after Pelosi's husband got attacked. And I just think they know, you know, and, you know, it's like people may not be like people in Detroit to me, they talk to me about it all the time. Like they're angry. They're angry. Small business owners angry. You know, your lockdown COVID shit fucked me up. And you know, they didn't take out a PPE loan, and now they're struggling, and now things are tight, and now you have this inflation, and it's just not
That's some shit.
it's not a good it's not great, you know. And then, you know, you're hiring 86,000 IRS agents to go after all the PPE loan fraudulent stuff, but
What the fuck is that?
how many of that's going to end up on someone's front doorstep who got nothing to do with PPE loan, who just, you know, doesn't have the money to pay their taxes?
Well, you know what that was. You know they killed the portal. I don't know if it was because we got EIDL, we got PPP. So they killed the portal, the loan portal. It was real easy to go on and get your money, and then they killed it. They said, now you're responsible for your payments whenever they come up. You know, when you took the loan, we're not going to remind you. You know what I mean? So there's going to be people that can't pay it back, and they know it. So what does that mean? They get ownership of their business. Right. So that's how the mortgages right now, they're putting you in a 30-year prison sentence. They know you'll never get this value back on your property. Ever. You're stuck in a prison sentence, or they're going to take your property. Police state. Totalitarianism, you know, is where we're headed. We're headed towards all the isms put together that failed.
Right.
It's an amalgamation of shit that they're scared. They're scared because this right here, we the people, and there's other people out there that they are pissed, but they're taking that anger and they're transitioning into action, you know, and staying in contact, just talking about it. Because I mean, if it stays as anger, it's useless. It's just useless. All you do is get frustrated, and you can't have logical conversations, and you become a pawn, right? So Anger without action is fucking useless. It's almost as detrimental as the action itself that caused the anger.
Well,
I'm
there
not
comes a
biased.
point, you got to understand that there comes a point where anger and fear meet, uh, and then they unite. That's what's really going on, is that space of anger and fear are merging with those that have a lot of financial insecurity, for those that are having a tough time paying bills or even putting food on the table, got kids, all that stuff. You know, um,
Those win.
the American government's not making it easy on Americans, and it's a bullshit game. It's all a game to them. You know,
Well, I
it's
mean,
all
yeah,
a
they can't
fucking
be.
game. It's a
They don't
fucking
have anything
game.
to lose. They got nothing to lose.
I
They
know, but
only
the
have.
thing is, man, the thing is, everything is just so expensive. And the game that the government's playing is just rigged. You know, CVS wanted to tell me that my inhaler was like $400 with insurance. You know, I really wanted to tell the pharmacist, I'm surprised no one's threatened to cut your throat yet. You
I mean,
know,
$250 for lotion, and they couldn't even remember when my hands were splitting. This weird shit. Went to the emergency room. They're like, "What's that?" I'm like, I'm here. You tell me." And they prescribed this lotion. It's $300. It was almost $300 for lotion that did nothing. It did. I'm like, this is insane. But and I mean, so we know they've been bloating the prices on medication, and Big Pharma's been, so they're doubling down on that. Like, that's what they're doing. They're doubling down on that. They're like, oh yeah, we got to get more now because the jig is up.
a good RX, you know, I'm not plugging them by any means, but you know, the pharmacist was like, dude, look up good RX real quick, and it did chop my inhaler bill by like 80%. So I ended up spending like $130 on it instead of like 500. But you know, I just think that's ridiculous. Now, you know, that's just me. Going to, you know, kids and parents who don't have insurance. You know, I know most kids have it because like the state offers it, but you know, it's just the racket's getting out of control. You know, the racket is getting out of control. They're doing their damnedest to keep everyone on the hamster wheel. And, you know, I mean, I think people think about assassinating Uncle Sam all the fucking time. I mean, you know, I've been in conversations with a lot of people that are upset. You know, you're not, the government is supposed to be providing a service.
Well,
They're not, they're not
yeah,
doing any of that. They're not doing any of that. You're
yeah,
not
that's yeah.
providing anything. You're not providing fucking anything. You're taking,
I gotta provide
and you're taking more and more. And you aren't siding with us. You're not siding with the people. You're siding with big business and billionaires. You're siding with people who will keep, you know, your pockets lined and create more suffering for citizens of this country. And I think that shit's about done. I think a lot of the people are a little sick and tired, and I truly just believe they're just waiting for an incident. You know,
And that's the problem, is that's where people will fail, where they failed throughout human history time and time again, is when you wait. If you're just waiting for an opportunity, they're not going to give it to you. If you see an opportunity open up, you can bet your ass that it's been planted.
yeah, but you know, it only takes a mistake. You know, I mean, just think of like George Floyd now. You know, I mean, if something like that happened, if like a George Floyd or Breonna Taylor happened now, dude, the country would erupt. It would literally erupt.
I mean,
I
it's
think,
it's
I
already
think that I know, but I just think right now that the tension and the fear and the anger is at an all-time high. And you know, this entire country is saturated in gasoline. and it's just waiting for a match.
Well, and that's the problem. That's the problem. I mean, and people will take that bait. They'll take that bait because the match ain't gonna do it. You know, all it's gonna do is cause an explosion. So we don't want an explosion. We want our livelihood sustainable, and we want.
I know, but it's ultimately not what we want. You have to let the natural things of society do what they do. Oh yeah, I don't want this and I don't want that, but you know, organic revolution is organic revolution.
But that's not natural. That's where humans have been fucking up since the beginning of time.
I know, but you're. It's funny because like the government has created this scenario.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they live in it. I think it's been. I don't think it was.
Greed has created this scenario.
Yeah, greed is the thing.
And unfortunately, you have 5% of the population in this country with most of the money. And that means you got 95% of the people hungry, angry, tired, and they've been that way for a long time. And also, I mean, like, let's look at the lockdown showed us that I would rather be with my family. I don't want to really be on that hamster wheel 9 to 5 bullshit. I'd rather work from home. I'd rather be with my kids. I could work from home. Why aren't I working from home now?
Well, it also showed us how sloppy the fucking government is. And these people that have been entrusted for people's livelihoods, to handle pensions, to handle Social Security, how fucking sloppy they are. Like, they're so sloppy.
I mean,
so egotistical in their approach to everything.
I mean, I know some single moms that saved a lot of money because they didn't have to put their kids in daycare.
They switched to Geico.
And I mean, I feel sorry for those daycare places, but and the moms were like, it was great. I had all my kids with me. They did their shit. They did their schoolwork on their tablet, and I was working from home, and it was a good time.
Log in on human condition.
What's that?
Zach, did you log in on human condition? How the fuck did that happen? You got some shit? I know it ain't Glenn. Who fucking knows me? Let's get this fucker out of here. Human condition. Who do you think you are? Son of a bitch. I don't know what else going on. Whatever. So, well, we know we can list all the problems. We can list them. We know them. They're obvious. And what I'm saying is we got to move into, and it's hard because I'm pissed too, but I'm not that pissed. I'm really not. It's not something that it was inevitable, right? We were heading down, we've been heading down this path for a long fucking time. And I mean, a lot of the surprises, people, not wanting to take responsibility for their own complacence. We were all in this trap, and really the core of all of this, we can say it's greed, we can say it's whatever, it is that, but it's fear. It's this lack of limitation, this fear that if somebody else has, you can't. It's such a deep-seated.
I know you're asking
fear.
I know, but you're asking a consciousness that's not spiritually awake to practice spiritual principles.
No, I'm not. No, I wouldn't ask anybody of that. Just they need. So what people need is somebody to exhibit it.
I know, but you're asking like somebody to not have lack and limitation when they're not making it.
That's what we were asked. That's what we were asked.
I know, but
we had to do it. For me and you to survive, we had to do that shit. We didn't have a choice. We did have a choice. We could have fell into further lack and limitation and ended our lives, right? So
I know. I also believe that a lot of the spiritual information isn't out there. People don't have time. I mean, it's great that, we can look at Instagram every morning and see all the spiritual gurus that we follow and stuff. And I do believe that the Great Awakening is happening, but I also believe that people are still, living in contempt without, prior to investigation, and they're living from old beliefs that weren't theirs, that were handed down to them,
I mean, and that's what's our job then. Our job is we went through some shit. We're relatable to, you're going to be relatable to different people than I am and whatever through our experiences. So our job is to show people that through our lives, through what we've gone through, that there's a different way. And
it's not even,
true.
I don't even
In the
think,
world.
I do believe the demonstration is important, and I think I've integrated that into my daily life, where I'm a walking demonstration of the spiritual life that I live. But it's it took a lot of work to get there,
Right.
and it took a lot of failure, and it took a lot of shit, man. And I think a lot of the stuff right now is that people are afraid, and
Well, we
when
can't.
they're afraid, it's like, do I get another job? Do I work 2 jobs? How am I going to manage? I got 3 kids. I'm a
So
single parent. All that shit, it's
we don't
tough.
want to make excuses for them either, though. Like, so what
No,
we're doing right now is we're talking about the problem. So what the fuck are we doing about it? Well, we're trying to empower people by showing them what their value is.
I know, but the
That's what
thing
we
is,
do.
it's like the Matrix, Vince. I I can't
Fuck the
can't
Matrix.
I can't make you take that pill.
Right? No, you can't, but I'm still gonna fucking die trying, right? So I'm not
And
here to
then
fucking
even when you do take the pill, there's the door. I I can
none of that
only lead
matters. Like, we can't even think like that. We
I
can't think
can
of
only, dude, I
excuses.
can only lead you to the door. I can't make you walk through it.
We know that, but why would we talk about it? You know what I mean? Like, why would we tell anybody that they have that option? They don't. They don't have that fucking option if they want a better life. They don't have that option right now.
I know, but
They have the
you
option,
and I
but
both
don't do
know
it.
that like all this stuff goes back to brain state. The problem
And
centers
I
in the
broke it.
mind. The
Yeah, I
problem
broke it.
centers in the mind.
Look, if I can break it, anybody can break it. That's just my opinion. Like,
And I agree with you, but I'm telling you, the problem is all you're in constant fight or flight. They've been in fight or
right, yeah, we
flight.
know that. So we're breaking it. Like, so we're not going to talk. When somebody says racism, we don't talk about racism. We talk about the trauma mechanisms. How does it make you feel? Jump straight to that question. How does it make you feel? Why do you feel that way? Because then you can get out of, because that's what the nefarious forces have been doing, is that they know when you say abortion, it triggers all kinds of shit that has nothing to do with the real issue. And now people are in their fight or flight mechanisms and they're just defensive. They have
Right.
this entire population defensive. Right, that's true. It's on us, people that have broken through that level of consciousness, and not fully, because we're still autopilot. I fall into autopilot frequently, but I know how to get out. Like, so, and it took a lot of work. It took a fucking ton of work to be able to get to a place where I could question myself in the moment and not have to go to that place.
I know, but at some point, somewhere, you surrendered.
Right.
That's
I mean,
that's
yeah, I
really
know.
what I
I
think.
don't have to do. I know what
I mean,
everyone
I
else
think
has
that's
to do
really
too.
like the first step for people is that are struggling and that aren't making it, is you got to stop and you got to surrender and just realize that this is beyond your control.
Well, and that's hard to, if you're still controlled by the ego, that's not a statement you want to make to yourself, because it makes, even though you're weakening yourself by sitting there trying to make the now be anything different than what it is, like you're wishing that it was this way or that way and blaming this person, this force, that force, rather than taking it as it truly is.
But then you gotta,
Somebody who's
they
living
need
like
to
that
ask
thinks surrender is
themselves,
a
like,
bad
what
thing.
has this gotten me? What has the victim mentality gotten me? Not a fucking thing. It got you
Well,
nothing.
that's what's happening with everything you're talking about. It's gotten us nothing. That same anger that people might think they can use to overcome this and have a power shift, any power shift would be temporary at best, and all it does is create enemies that will follow you through all of time. Like, we see the religious wars still being fought. Like, that's That shit was created back then, and it's only gotten worse because there's no victory in violence. There's no victory in anger. Like, unless anger is channeled in a way that can empower. So anger in itself is disempowering. It's weak. It's a weak state. So it's a secondary emotion. It's not even a first emotion. It's always a cover up to something deeper: fear, anxiety. It's a way to to compensate for something you don't want to feel.
I know, but they've been living, you know, a lot of these folks been living in a cycle of that for all their life.
Well, we know that. So we have to stop it. So, I mean, maybe we can show them.
How do you just stop it? How do you just stop it?
What are we doing? I'm not wasting my time with fucking this meeting people shit. That's not.
I know,
that's
but you obviously, you know, you took the time, went to therapy, and did all these things. You know, it's about just getting the information out there first.
Because you're not going to heal everybody, right? Like, I get what you're saying. People, if their back isn't against the wall, people change by choice or trauma, and it's almost always trauma. So
I'll tell you one thing.
Enough yet.
If people would start sharing how they healed themselves with other people and stop looking to make money at it, we would not be in this issue. You know,
well,
do you know how many people have fucking, you know, like light workers and the rest of them? It's like, hey, you know what? I've got this advanced light worker program. You've been doing excellent work on healing yourself, Vince. You know what?
$99, I'll give you the rest.
If I'm rolling out this new light worker advanced workshop, it's going to come with a journal. You'll get 8 free sessions with me. It'll be $4,500. But you got to act on it pretty quick, because I got a lot of people signing up, and you know, in a couple of weeks, I might bump it to 5,500. People where we come from don't have that kind of money for some bullshit light worker program.
Well,
but I'll tell you, the person that fucking created that program has a lot of answers that would help a lot of people. And that light worker,
or they don't.
Well, I have to receive the energy, you know, like I can't do this for free. It's like, number one, we're in a state on the planet where, like, you need to do some pro bono shit. You have clients that will always pay you. They're your bread and butter. You have that. Like, if you aren't giving away spiritual knowledge that you've accumulated over your life, or that someone else has shared with you, that are in dire fucking need, don't come around me. You ain't gonna want to come around me.
We don't have our tech people on, and we don't need them. I want to stick to reverse symbiosis, which is, it's the merging of humans with AI, and that's happening regardless. So whether we continue down this path that you're talking about, I'm not there. That's not my place anymore. Like Christ said, I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. I'm not of that mindset anymore. I know it doesn't work.
I know. Go back. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a book that you should read. It's called The Fifth Gospel. It's by Rudolf Steiner. And, you know, he goes into the Christ, and he's able to channel a lot of stuff with the Christ. Yes, you know, Christ did his works amongst everybody.
Yeah,
you know,
I know.
He was not of this world, right? But guess what?
No, he just meant that in the same way that we know we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Like, that's all it means. It's no magic, you know, to it.
But I still have empathy for those that are where I was.
So did Christ. I mean, he was hanging with prostitutes, and you know what I mean? Like, so did he. Like, that's compassion. Compassion is the driving force here. Like, that's right. If we don't exhibit compassion, which is we got to sympathize with people.
But I don't get to pick and choose who the fuck I help. You know, the purpose that we came on the planet for. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to do this, this, and this, and I'm not going to do that. You know, I made an agreement with my God that, yo, all right, this is what you want me to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I don't really have much to say about what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. I'm going to do whatever God wants me to do. And that's it.
You do though. I mean, there's a series of choices now. What I'm feeling lately is this. I'm feeling like the script. I'm seeing how the script was written. You know what I mean? All these things that happened in my life that are coming to this culmination, and they were there perfectly in a way that I didn't understand them back then, but I understand them now. They make sense. So so I agree with you that if you have a path, which I think everybody does, but I don't think so. I don't think anything's predetermined. I believe in a quantum God, right? Like a quantum entity. We live in quantum. We're quantum beings. We live in the realm of probabilities. If this, then that, right? So I don't think there's anything that's determined. But I do know that when I've gone wrong, I've had to deal with the consequences of that. You know what I mean? Like if something wasn't for me and I tried to push and I tried to make it something it wasn't, then I dealt with the consequences of that, and I had to learn that so that I didn't do that again.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's karmic timeline stuff too. You know, a lot of those kinds of consequences and the mistakes I made, I'm just doing things from past timelines that ended up in this timeline, which are getting taken care of now. You know.
Well, so reverse symbiosis, because we are merging with AI. It sounds weirder than it needs to sound. It's just what the fuck it is, and there's no separation here. From science to spirituality, there's none. If when people say man-made, I'm like, well, everything's man-made, kind of. You know what I mean? Or from nature. Well, everything's from nature. And then people will try to say, well, that's not from God. Well, you don't fucking know. If it's here, it's from that. You know what I mean? Whatever the one is, it was sprung forth from that. So there's really no separation of science and spirituality, and it's all the same thing. And that's why the two-party system works so well, to separate people, because people have this finite view on an infinite universe. They know beginning, end, because that's how their life is as a human, right? They're imprisoned by the five senses, and it's hard to think beyond that. And I don't fault anybody for that. And it takes what it took for us to be able to get outside of that shell and say, all right, well, now I know what it's like to die, and I lived through it. So because of that, now your neural pathways open up to this whole new horizon that to a lot of people just seems like woo-woo, right? They got labels for the shit that scares them because they're programmed to think that you can't live through that line of thinking. Like it's just, you'll be scrutinized and you'll be whatever, and oh, if you do that drug, if you do acid, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? If you who we got here? Zach. We got the Zach Baller. So that's what people are contending with. They're contending with generations of conditioning to scare people so that the powers that be could control them. And that if we continue to program AI with that, and what AI is, it's just artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is consciousness, really. You know, we can say it's man-made, but it's going to merge. It's going to come back together. The binary, it's all relative. So how do we bring it back together into a dystopia by continuing to program it with the worst parts of who we are, or do we flip it with something like what we're doing here with fucking SSI, self-sovereign identity, where now we're feeding it nurture rather than nihilism? That's the play. That's the entire play. Is we have a choice as human beings, and there's way more of us than there are of them. Whoever they are, there's way more of us. So we have we can start feeding nurture into this system, and it's going to program nurture, and it's going to program it better, because that's what fucking computation is. That's what computers do. Whatever we feed it is where we'll wind up. So right now we're feeding it nihilism. We're feeding it consumerism. We're feeding it all the bad isms. You know what I mean? So we keep feeding it bad isms. It's gonna make that better and faster. We got to feed it nurture, and if we keep making excuses for the nihilism, well, it's our fault. Wherever it winds up, as bad as it winds up, it's our fucking fault. I mean, we can make a choice. And I just said this on this last little live thing I did. Einstein this is brilliant. He said, you can live life two ways. One is if everything is a miracle. The other is if everything isn't. And that's really it. Like that's the key. You know, why would I choose the miracle? Because the other way sucks. And I have that choice. So you got to think about it. If you're thinking life is shitty, and you're going to choose to live according to that agreement, well, you got to wonder where that's coming from inside you, because it's not out there. Because I see things, I saw some pretty shitty things, and I still always thought there was something better.
And a lot of it's programming. It's mostly programming, parental programming or lack of parental programming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all passed down, generational shit. You know,
It's systematic indoctrination. Sorry for my late arrival, but we're indoctrined from our birth, right out of the gate, day one. We're already told what to do.
Well, think of the original sin, right? What the fuck is that? You're fucking shit from the very beginning. And unless you pray to this God that doesn't really seem right, because you say it's all knowing, all loving, all powerful, yet it's judging me every step of the way.
Well, let's talk about AI, because I keep getting these questions, Vince, and I really wanted to ask you this question. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So in ed tech, that's kind of my that's where I live, right? Educational tech. I keep getting these questions from leaders in the industry asking, should students have access to they're asking technology, okay? But let me define what that means. You've heard about ChatGPT?
Yeah.
I said, okay, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening is these kids are asking this AI engine, write me a summary on Moby Dick. Okay.
It's
right?
crazy.
And then it's answering the question, and they're copying and pasting it and getting an A.
Dude, who gave it to me? Patrick, my partner. His wife just did it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm gonna write a book.
It's insane. We asked it for a marketing email for our tool for Flip, and it created one of the best marketing emails I've seen yet.
That's fucking
it was insane. It was insane. But here's my question, right? So with that in background and context, the question is, do we, right, allow for that inside our educational system? Does that help or hinder our children's education, right? And as we head, and here's how it relates to what we're doing here with the sovereign identity piece, is that the more we get entrenched with technology, the less I feel that we stay in touch with our humanity.
Well, and that's where self-sovereign identity comes into play, because now you have to build your own reputation, and it comes with integrity points, call it, but you have to do things now. You can't just sell yourself, right? Like if that's what it is, you're always being watched, not really, but it feels like it, because what you gain in life is going to be through who you are. So you have to do things. And I think yes, you allow it in education, but you allow it because you don't want people sneaking it in. So you say, yes, you can ask that question, but now you're going to have to expand on that. So we learn faster. We start to learn faster, like AI does. Okay, well now we know that information came from there. Now, what's your take on that? What's your take on the AI and how that happened? Because where's the future? It's in there.
I'm just going to ask the question, and this is me being, I guess, a nihilistic. What happens when that tech fails? What happens when you can't get to the internet anymore? And all of a sudden,
the grid goes down.
That's what I'm saying. Like we're reaching a point where it's like people can't even change a fucking light bulb anymore.
There's a song called "What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down" by Public Enemy.
Yeah,
it's a great song.
Yeah,
so
you're nailing it, dude.
We haven't been programming the grid. If the grid goes down now, you're fucked, right? Because we've been relying on it, because that's what consumerism wants you to do. Rely on this system. You need this system. Don't do anything else. Go to school for 20 years, be in debt, fucking collect more debt. Then when you can't get a job, go on welfare. You know what I mean? Like, it wants you to be reliant. It's tricking you. Like Kent said, it's tricking the fringes into believing we need it. We don't need it. We need a system of government, but we don't need this. We don't need to rely on anything but each other. And if we can teach each other through a movement like this, that look, we're where the power is. When the grid fails, go to your neighbor.
Can I make a comment, Vince?
Yeah.
And again, I really do. I apologize that I'm jumping in so late, but as you
No,
are aware, the ticker is made a lot of progress this week.
Yeah, yeah.
I've shown it to a handful of people, and everybody I've shown to that page has said, "Wow, wow."
That's the response I
Crazy.
got. Like,
You don't realize it until you add the numbers up.
And you
So
don't think
kudos
about
to
it.
you for Vince, kudos to you for pushing it, because it really is going to make an impact on the impression of what I think what you're pushing, which is that we as a society have a voice, and we are stronger than lobbyists. We are stronger than the money that's
Yes.
out there, and we are the consumers. And
We're
so
why they have jobs.
try to
Without us,
control
it
us.
doesn't exist.
It's not the right, you need to work with us, not against us, right?
What,
Right.
plug the website one again right now.
Sure, it's
throw it on the,
wpt.online is the domain
WTP.
for now.
WTP.
wtp.online. So we the people .online. That's the domain that we're pushing towards. But Vince has got this, no taxation without representation.
So
And
the
it's
ticker's
important.
on WTP online.
wtp.online. That's
Okay.
it.
If you want to get right to it, it's /join after that. WTP
All right.
online.
I haven't looked at the ticker yet. I'll do it tonight.
Yeah,
It's
I think there's,
impressive, Sean. It's impressive.
That's,
I mean,
that's great, man. We've been talking about it for months.
when you
We got
see it,
We got it
when you
together.
see what your daily is, like you don't think when you're sitting with 20 of your friends after a school event or whatever, you're not sitting there contemplating, if we didn't spend money the way they thought we would, like at Walmart and all these different places if we didn't spend the money there and we just kept it in our little community here and we spent, we bartered and traded, shit, that's $1.5 million amongst us 20. We're millionaires.
That's just a neighborhood. That's not even your. That's not even a neighborhood. It's
Yeah,
not even a
I
thing.
mean,
And to think
it's just
that
a collective.
we have
It's a
that
book
strong
club.
of an impact
You're a book club.
financially. It's crazy to me. I just didn't realize that we as people had that much impact. And so I just want to give you a thank you from my end for continuing to push me and the rest of the text for that matter to get that up, because it really is going to make I know it's superficial, but because it's a number. I get that, but the truth of the matter is that we have to take movement, right?
Yes.
So let's assume that we had 1 million, 2, 3, 30 million, doesn't matter. And let's assume that number was up to $1 billion, Vince. We need to understand what it is that we're going to do with that impact, right? AARP has a mission, right? The NCAA, they all have missions. So that's the piece in which that I'm not mad at anybody. I want to make that very clear. I'm not angry at anybody. I think that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I was trying to.
The only thing I'm pissed at is that the fact that politicians don't get their shit done, and we're paying for it.
But they can't. They're in a system where it's set up to fail. Like if there's only two, you have to be at odds. You can't be any other way, right? So it's set up to fail. It's not set up to ever be successful.
I don't know.
It can't be.
Have you guys talked about this whole, Speaker of the House vote yet?
We haven't talked about that, no. But that's
what a joke! What a joke!
It's
What an embarrassment of our political system that you got this, sect sitting inside one group. It's now a 3-party system, if I were to guess it. And they're holding everything hostage. And and by the way, they're insane. And I'm sorry if I offend anybody by saying that, but those people are absolutely nuts.
No, you can say they are. That doesn't mean, what people need to realize is because they follow a certain person and something they said makes sense, that doesn't make them, right? You're not, if you follow Donald Trump and your neighbor didn't like Donald Trump at all because you just didn't like that guy, that doesn't make you Donald Trump. You don't have to take offense because somebody doesn't like it. That's right. Okay. You can state your opinion too, and you don't have to fight over it.
Correct.
Because maybe, and you're talking about it, you get to, that's why I think that, oh shit. So now I get it. Get into the mechanism. What do you feel? Because I care about what you feel. I don't care about what you throw at me. That doesn't matter. The names you call, the shit. You know what I mean? None of that matters. But I care.
What do you think about that, Sean? What's your input on this? I'd love to know from the spiritual standpoint where you stand.
What with the House?
Yeah, man. Have you been following anything on that?
Yeah,
thing?
man, McCarthy's. It's all, you have this happened a long time ago, like in the 1800s and early 1900s. There were certain factions inside of the Republican Party, and it's happening again. It's just a repeat of history. I don't think McCarthy is respected. I mean, people were like, all right. So like he wants it. And then you had a group that was like, that motherfucker's not getting it. This motherfucker, is not getting
We're
it.
going to stand together. These 12 people are going to stand
But-
together and hold up the vote.
Right.
15 votes later.
But you know why
Yes.
that happens? Because
For no
of the
reason.
two-party system.
For no
But
reason.
you got to understand, man, he gave concessions up the ass.
What does that mean? Define that to me, because I keep hearing concessions, but they never say what they were. What did he say? I'm going to go, bang a midget. Like, what did he have to go? Like, what's he like?
Little
What?
person.
It's all greasing
Little
wheels,
person. All right.
man.
Like, what did he have
It's
to
all
do?
greasing wheels. It's greasing the wheels of those representatives, constituencies. So, those people that got extended fucking concessions, let's say one of them lives in Texas and is fucking representative
this
of fucking
is
Austin.
fucking bullshit, and that's the pork that we keep talking about when it comes down to our politics that needs to be removed. And here we are, Vince, hear me out on this one. Here we are trying to take a financial stance to make a difference in our politics. And what we're doing, if we were completely successful, would not have changed the McCarthy debacle, we'll call it, over the last week.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would, because
But check this out.
Here, the design
Hold
of the
on.
two-party system.
Let Vince go first. I want to hear Sean too, though.
The design of the two-party system makes there have to be sex because nobody can get a voice. So you got to weasel your voice into play because you have these two forces, the DNC and the RNC, that are going to quash you. So they're looking for angles. And if you only have two, well, there's a lot more than two in the human condition. So you got these people that want to be heard, and they're going to use any tactic. It's like anybody who's oppressed. You're going to find a fucking way somehow, and it's going to be some kind of sideways tactic that just gets your voice heard. If it wasn't fucking if we do everything, if we pull profit out of politics and it goes back to the vote of the people dictating who our leaders are, it's different. It's organically different because people aren't going to stand for that shit. So we can vote immediately for a filibuster to go away. We don't like that shit. Get that shit out of there. We can't vote like that now because these motherfuckers are saying this is what you get to vote on.
I know, but the thing is, our vote don't count anyway.
Go on, Sean. Go on, Sean.
Don't you remember what Kent was saying? Your vote doesn't really count.
That can't be true, man. Now listen, I have to stand on something in this country. And Sean, I want to not believe you, but my gut says you're right. I want to not believe you. But the truth of the matter is, I think our vote doesn't matter. I think that we've been put into a system in which that they've already picked that it wasn't.
They've already picked.
It was Hillary. And then Trump threw the whole fucking thing off and they were like, oh shit, we fucked up. I mean, honest to God, if I were to roll back the last election, that's what happened.
I want to explain something. So, you spent all that money prosecuting Trump and all
that money in a fucking runoff in Georgia.
And all the Mar-a-Lago shit and all the papers and everything.
Yeah.
You spent billions of dollars probably. And now you just find out that Joe Biden had a bunch of papers in his office from his vice presidency.
Oh, like Clinton didn't do that, like Obama
and now,
didn't do
guess
that, like
what?
Reagan
and
didn't
now,
do it, Carter.
And
name
now,
them all.
I know, but like now, all the Trump stuff is going to go away, and he's going to run again. And it's like, why did you just waste all of our time and all of our money?
It's distraction.
I do give a fuck, Vince.
Distraction
You just
politics.
spent 6 months, probably $4 billion of your fucking money on some bullshit.
Yeah, no, you mean my
Yeah,
money.
I'm gonna give a fuck about
that. You mean
What
my
the
money.
fuck, dude? What Clinton did in the blowjob, who gives a fuck? They give you these triggering things and they make you fight over them. They
I
say
know,
that-
but the thing
And by,
is,
and by the
that
way,
shit
every
costs
president's
money,
gotten
man.
blowjobs their entire presidency.
dude,
Every
all
one of them.
these special fucking committees, all this time, all these investigations, all the FBI, all that
It's
payroll.
job security for them.
I know,
Either,
but it's
again,
costing,
when you control
it's
the
costing
till,
the taxpayer. It's costing the
So,
taxpayer.
and here, so here's the thing with
listen,
we the
if
people.
so as a web designer, if I could tell everybody that they need a website, I would, right? Everybody you bump into, hey, you need a website. That's good for me because I get
Right.
to build websites.
Well,
So
you
if
make
I've
it the
got control
regulation
over
of
the
your
federal
government,
spend,
make them get one.
then the more colossal clusterfuck that forms in government, the more I have to do, the more justification that I get to live at. I mean, truth be told, I want to know how much they make. I want to know what benefits they get, and I want to know how much they're paid for their office. I mean, that's the other thing. They get so much budget for every one of those senators. They have a budget for, all their support staff and all the travel and all the
Their
whatever.
travel,
It adds up.
fucking-
Like, what? How much
Their
a
kids, they
year
have
does a senator get paid? when it comes down to it?
medical insurance.
That's
What's
what I'm saying. Like, what's the cost for a senator per year? I want to know that.
It's
Right,
like 200 some thousand. It's
It's more than
there's all
that,
these
man. It's
perks
more
that
than
go along
that.
with it.
It's a
What's that?
lifetime expenditure that after 3 years, or after 2 to 4 years, I believe. I think it's 2 years. You get lifetime health insurance. Like for
And
life.
fucking veterans can't even get it. Like my partner Patrick, they won't even give him 100% disabled. He was blown up in his Humvee in fucking Iraq. He can't get 100% disabled because they don't want to give it to him. So he's got 80%
Because
disabled.
they
What the
didn't,
fuck is that?
not enough arms are blown off. He didn't have enough.
He's a veteran, and these fuckers come in with their fucking mouths, and they hire their kids to fuck everything up, and
Yeah.
we continue to let it. But the only way we can stop it is we gotta exercise some unity first. We gotta show that hey, we're not fighting each
Community.
other, and we gotta come at it from me and Sean were talking about earlier. He's talking about how people are angry. We gotta turn that anger into look, we're here to rescue the government that's good. You guys get the fuck out of there. Let's get those
Turn
force
it
guys.
into
We're not angry.
love, man.
What's that?
That's right, Sean.
It's just, we're ain't on no hippie shit though. Like I mean,
That's- it's
it's
not
Just turn it
hippie.
into love, man.
It's
Just
not
love one
hippie shit.
another.
It's not
Just love
hippie.
one another. It'll all
It's
work
militant
out.
love.
Yeah,
It's
man, the
militant love.
Beatles,
There's a
Jesus
difference.
Christ, name anybody you want. They've all had this. They've all had the right message.
But I mean, it's militant. Like with somebody
Just
like
give
Jesus.
peace a
he
chance,
stood in
man.
front of-
Just give peace a chance.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Fucking you go. I'm not going to fucking sit in a tent and do acid and say that the world's gonna be okay based on that. But what you got to do is you got to stand in front of their bullets and their words and their scrutinization and their fucking dismantling of your character. You got to stand there and say, I don't give a fuck. I believe in this, and throw it at me. And that's what people won't do. You know what I mean? They'd rather go hide in that tent and say peace and love because it feels better. And then you don't have to deal with the conflict. You got to be poised and ready to deal with the conflict. You got to be ready to be called crazy. And you just have to. Because if you don't, then they win. You know what I mean? If you're hiding, that's why I said I'll never take a meeting behind a closed door. As far as this is concerned, I don't think that's the right thing to do. Because if I got to hide something, I'm not living with integrity. So I won't fucking do it. From this, I made a pledge probably about 2 years ago. I said, I won't do anything at all that I won't talk about in public. So anything that I've ever done, it's public fodder. Nobody will ever be able to use that.
Yeah.
They can use it against me. There's shit that I've done that fucking, but I don't
Yeah, I'm
give a
not
fuck.
afraid. Vince, I've reached a point in my life where I'm not afraid anymore. And I don't know if it's because I'm old enough at this point where I just don't give a shit. But the truth
Like
of the
Sean
matter
said,
is
we're
that
fed up.
my frustration is turned into finding solutions alternatively. And that's why I support this movement. I mean, it really boils down to just trying to figure out reasonable solutions that we as a society can group together and join together and actually fight a machine that's much bigger than us. I mean, it's a David and Goliath story. There's no doubt. But the truth of the matter is it takes one
It
slingshot.
appears.
It takes
They
one
just have our
shot
money
from that
right.
slingshot. And you
It's not
crack them in
big
the
enough.
eye
They
and
just
it's
have our
done.
money. They have our money and they have us scared. They have us living paycheck to paycheck. So people are fucking scared. And that's what we got to embrace is we can't judge people for being scared. Because I know I've lived fear when and something happened where I just wasn't going to do it anymore. And then I took that overboard. And now I'm in a place where, well, I think we can communicate to people that you don't have to be scared. But how do you make it? You empower them. You say, this is your economic impact. Hey, while we're trying to do this thing here, here's what barter and trading looks like. Talk to your mom and pop. Let them know order up stockpiles, because if they don't put a cap on this finance spend or the campaign spend, we're going to buy from you only, and that's it. You know, so while we're building towards that 33 million, we're training people on what it is to be an empowered citizen and
Yeah.
utilize your.
You know, Vince, you're going to need to start blogging more. It's true. You're going to have
I
to,
know.
and maybe we need to potentially engage someone that can help the movement to come up with some, you know, relevant articles, or at least repost things, even if it's not original content. Reposting
Did you
is
see
a
the
very
thing in the email
effective
they
way.
sent?
Say it again,
I
brother.
sent an email a while ago, and what I wanted to start doing is, so it was an interview with, it was one of the Cuomos, the guy who, it was the younger Cuomo, and Bill Maher, both polarizing, right? There's somebody is gonna look at either one of those guys and have an opinion right away. But the fucking message, they were talking about this, you gotta get rid of the two-party system, common sense. But if you look at them, there's people that go into that conversation with an opinion, either negative or positive. They either worship or they hate the person. So you don't even get the message these guys are sending because they're going in. So what I want to do is I want to start taking polarizing people, Donald Trump, whatever, and not judging them, but saying, did you get what they actually said there? Because there was something in there that they said that was blocked out in your brain because you were stuck. So if we can start conditioning people out of that just by asking questions, that's how I got out of PTSD. I still have to deal with the mechanisms, but now there's a space between stimulus and response that I have through asking myself, is this real? You know, it was really that simple. Is this real? And then I would ponder immediately. Like if you want to go into instant meditation, ask yourself, who is it that's conscious of my thinking right now? You're gonna fucking think. It takes you into you might not stay in trance, but you're that right. You ponder,
Was this injected, or is this something that actually is real? Is that the question you're asking?
That's the question. Yeah.
Was this an injection?
99% of the time,
was this perpetration, manipulation, or is it actually real?
Well, here's the reality is that we should never, human existence today is never surviving. So, I mean, so this part of the brain hasn't grown beyond survival. It's still evolutionary. The reptilian brain still doesn't know if it's a saber-toothed tiger or if somebody's talking bad about your shoes, right?
Sure.
So as you're sitting there in the amygdala and your brain's trying to process whether or not to go into fight or flight, it doesn't know if it's a fucking saber-toothed tiger. So the further you push people into fight or flight,
somebody
the
giving you
more
a
saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if what I know is if I get a visceral response, I'm real fucking angry immediately, it's probably fake. You know what I mean? It's connected to something that happened when I was a kid. It's not real in the moment. So when
it's never worth it. I'll be honest. Those visceral reactions are never worth it in retrospect when you think about it.
Because they're not real. Like they don't belong in humanity today. Like humanity today, we don't need those. We got to shake that part of us, and the system won't let us. Right? The system loves it.
Well, it feeds on it. It loves it.
Well, you're locked in. They got you locked in.
It thrives on our. I mean, it thrives on our fear. Our fear and our, you know, and we really do want to do the best thing for our families. We want to keep our job. We want to be the best we can be. And as soon as we're struck with that fear, which is false, it's false. We line up like a good citizen, right? We take our meds. We fucking, what are these other meds? We take our meds. We pay our taxes. You know, you don't talk about religion and fucking whatever the fuck else they say, politics. What? That encompasses our lives. Why would I not talk about that? You know what I mean? Like, it's what we have is information. We live in the age of information now. We have the ability to connect at light speed, right? So that's never happened in human history. What we have now is the most power we've ever had as a population of individuals. And if we don't use it, there's going to come a time where we won't have it. You know what I mean? Because this is the most dangerous thing in the sphere of their existence, whatever the powers that be are. This right here, our ability to do this is that's the death of that system. So we can do it without blood. We can do it just by saying, we're not going to buy from you, man. You know what I mean? We're just not. We don't have to. And we believe our neighbor over you. And it's going to take a lot because I don't fight with my neighbors, but there's been time, right? You know, it's everyone's fighting out there and their defense mechanisms. It's hard to embrace that. It is, but it has to happen. It has to happen or we're dead in the water. I don't know of another way. Like, I can't think of anything else that makes sense because like Martin Luther King said, in Jesus, hate begets hate. It's pure fucking math. It's physics. What do you get when you put anger on top of anger? More anger. You can't get anything else. If they don't cancel each other out, they can't. You're putting that shit. So if I don't like Trump and I'm that motherfucker, you're part of the problem. You are part of the fucking problem because you just put shit on top of his shit. And now he can justify his shit and there's more shit. And it's just shit piling up. So until we learn to not throw shit on top of shit, it's just going to be a big pile of shit. And it's
Yeah, but the government's throwing the shit.
It doesn't matter who is, who's going to be the one to break the shit. You know, like the people we talk about today, the most impactful people on this planet, Martin Luther King, Jesus Christ.
So
God.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
It makes no sense to me.
Just,
it makes
just
no
wait
sense.
a second. Wait a second, Sean. I gotta bite on that one. The government, of course, is throwing out propaganda, no doubt about it. But the truth of the matter is, it's dirtbags on the net that are trolling. They just troll garbage.
Not just that. You look. If you have all the media outlets owned by like 3 companies, and there's a fuck ton of media.
There's 14. There's 14.
You're not really going to get
yeah.
the truth. You're never going to get
Never
the
gonna
truth.
get it. You're never gonna get it. And then, all right. So hear me out. So then you got somebody like Trump, and look, I'm not pro or anti-Trump.
I know. I look. I'm not blue or red. I
All
want
right.
them both
So hear me
darn.
out. Hear me out. So Trump gets kicked off of Twitter, gets kicked off of Facebook, he gets kicked out of all the social networks, and says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make my own social network called
Right.
Truth. Okay. He's ostracized. He's made fun of. I
because
saw
it's
a
not the
comment on Kimmel that Kimmel quoted from him. He had 17,000 likes. Don't laugh at that. That was 17,000 likes. And he's like, oh, nobody's looking at it. It's like 17,000 people did. At least they liked it. I mean, whatever it is. I mean, and he's building a network from scratch. It's less than a year old. So I just don't like it's just so visceral. Things are so, they're just so pointed against each other, where there's this left and right, where it's somehow, and they just keep pointing us. They keep pointing us as if somehow I'm in some sort of camp. I'm not in any camp.
We are.
I'm in the camp of truth, love, and justice.
That's why we got to stand out there in those like that. We got to stand out there. We got to love the person we hate the most. We got to find a way to do that. We have to find a way to do that because they matter to us. Because the people who are pitting us against one another.
I don't even hate nobody. I don't hate nobody.
I don't hate
I'm
anybody.
just speaking in regular human terms, you know. Neither do I. I mean, there's people I think I hate that goes away after.
I ultimately end up feeling pity for those people. You know, hate turns into pity real quick.
I mean,
That's an
honestly,
exercise
I
you have to do, though,
don't
you know?
even got that. I might get pissed off when I get cut off on the road for a minute, but then I just kind of justify it as, you know, maybe their time is more important than mine. Maybe they're going somewhere that needs that.
They had to take a shit. It's the number one reason I always let people go. Say, yeah, they had to take a shit.
Or their grandma's dying, or someone's
Yeah,
dying.
yeah,
Something, you know.
They got a kidney stone. They're getting to the
Yeah.
hospital.
Those motherfuckers, you fucking piece of shit that
Right.
Why are they a piece of shit? I don't even know that.
Yeah,
But
they
why
meant
am I
you no
carrying
harm.
this shit through my day now?
Motherfucker
But
almost
that
cut me
goes,
off.
but that
It's
goes
like,
down to, I mean, now think about this. Let's take that same thought, right? The cutoff on the road, because we've all been pissed. We've all done it.
It's always a great.
Let's imagine
example.
that we posted an article that says, I don't know, I love cats. And so, it's a simple article. There's going to be somebody in the world who goes, you know what? You're an asshole. Cats suck. They make you sneeze, and
How
dogs are
could
better
you
than
have an
that.
animal? How could you domesticate an
could you?
animal?
How could
Cats
you
are fucking
possibly cage this creature?
You're caging it in your house. You probably even declawed it too. How
So
could you?
why would somebody do that? Think about it.
Murderer! You're a murderer!
Everything
You
is a
made that
call for
poor
love.
animal defenseless. It can't protect itself.
So
You're
what
upset
is that
you
person
can't-
really trying to do?
You
They're trying-
can't win.
this
You
is a
can't
very
win.
And
simple-
now you must die.
Yeah. And now I'm going to look you up and I'm going to give you 1-star reviews everywhere I can
What
find.
is that person trying to do? Get to the core. What are they trying to do? When they do something
Well,
like that.
no, there's a
they're
lot of,
trying to-
I
they're
think
trying to
there's a,
empower themselves for something that can empower. So that's what they're doing. They're
Well, we
trying,
need
they're
to-
trying to do what we really need to do.
they're trying to pit
Subconsciously,
us
they're
up
trying.
against each other. And I think that
No,
if we
no.
were,
If
and
somebody,
Sean said it
if
best.
somebody
Sean
responds to your
nailed it.
fucking cat thing, they're not pitting anything against each other. If somebody wants to, everybody wants to stand up for something. They want to stand up. They want to believe that they're made of something empowering, which they are. So they'll find little shit like that to,
That's
they
their
stand behind the guise of
purpose.
virtue when really they live a cowardly life. A lot of people.
That's their
So-
purpose, Vince.
The,
I mean,
the cat,
honest to
well,
God, we've reached a point, guys, in which that I don't know how do you reach somebody on a,
doing
and
it.
again, Sean, I really always appreciate,
Well,
the conversations with you because I feel like there's a certain spiritual, connection that you have. I can just feel it with just your demeanor, let alone the words that come out of your mouth. I would really like to hear your opinion on, how do we heal the world? Do we start
Fucking
with
doing it.
the US and move globally? When we talk about a global society, that goes
This
into
is global.
Illuminati stuff. No, I get.
Do you
but
not
Vince,
see this? Like, do you not see that this could be global?
I see it.
immediately?
The problem is that go back to what we just talked about the trolls and the internet. I love
Most of those
cats.
are bots.
How could
You
you
know
dare?
that.
How dare you love cats?
Those
right?
are bots. Not all of them, but so here's what SSI gets rid of: bots. They know they're not human.
No.
They
No, it does
immediately
not. It does not get rid of
Yes,
Twitter.
it fucking does. You got to learn a little bit more about SSI before you start putting it down, because that's what everybody's getting in this movement. They're getting this SSI before anybody else, and they're getting it for free. So it creates your identity. This is a new form of ID.
But how
forever.
is that going to stop content delivered into Twitter? I mean,
Because-
I get it
because
that I can
AI
log
knows
in with,
it's
you know what I mean? Like I've got my authenticator app and I can do whatever. And Microsoft's
knows
already
it's
on the way to
fake.
SSI.
If self-sovereign identity is allowing we turn on the flow of information, we turn it off. We get to make that call. That's how, because it's now humans, because it's
But
not
I mean,
humans that are
install
operating
ad
the internet.
blocker and call it a day. I mean, I guess where I'm coming from is that they're always going to know your number. They're always going to know your number. And they're
Well,
always going to
okay,
know
they
that
are
you're looking
gone.
for a waterbed and deliver
are
you
fucking-
waterbed ads. You follow what I'm
You're a
saying?
tech guy. If it's predominant, right now it's not run by humans. It's run by a couple of tech people that know how to sell you shit. So if we have it to where everybody has to have SSI, and you know who's human, so much so that you can vote by a blockchain, and they know you know what I mean? Like this
Oh.
technology is fucking phenomenal.
So,
It is fucking, and it can't be hacked right now. Like quantum computing may get to a point to where you can hack this, but you can't. So right now, if you can establish your identity, that's how AI grows. It's going to keep reprogramming that, making it better. And that's where we inject humanity into this system. Right now, people have come in and utilized it to put dopamine, to give you a dopamine hit every 2 minutes, tell you you're not good enough. Buy this, you'll be good enough. That's what the internet is right now.
all right. So look, Vince, I've got maybe another 20 minutes for you. What time is it? Yeah, I've got another 20. I can say it till about 10:30. I'm not, are we recording this, huh?
Yeah, we're live right now. I got to
Great.
check.
All right. Great. I didn't know we were live. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we're live.
I've been interrupting the entire live session. Sorry.
But that's fine though. I mean, that's what this is. It's conversation. 'Cause,
Right.
I mean, if people were in here, they'd be interrupting it too,
Right.
asking. So we're getting like so
Well,
we gotta.
so here's my question to you. Okay. This is important because, look, man, I'm following you, right? And I believe in what it is that you're doing. And I think that you've got a noble cause. I really do feel that you are someone that has your intent is good. That's why I'm helping you. What I don't get is where the evolution into SSI is coming from the We the People movement. Like We the People, I saw it as a get rid of the two-party, control the money. And there's this whole thing where it was like,
Well,
I
We
was
the
still
People has been
missing, I was
found.
missing the conclusion but now I'm seeing this SSI piece come into play, and please, all I'm asking is a simple question, which is, how does this fit into your movement?
Well,
I'm
that's
not
inextricable now.
challenging you. I'm just asking the question.
No, it's inextricable now. So I don't know if you know about Tahrir Square, the Arab Spring. They actually got Mubarak, however you say his name. They got him out of office. So it was a bunch of young people, and they used YouTube, and they got worldwide sentiment, and they took this fucking place over, and they got him out. What they didn't have when they got him out was a plan. So they had to have the government come back because they didn't have a fucking plan. They just had the enthusiasm to remove them. So where SSI comes in, it's how we make this permanent. So once we have control of the voting, and it's our votes that are dictating our leaders, it's our votes that you have a tax equity oversight representative in every place throughout America. You're getting the real will of the people, and nothing passes the feds until this vote happens. So nobody's going to get bullshit taxes through anymore. They're not going to get bullshit policies because it's us. So when it's us, self-sovereign identity, and we can dictate the flow of our information, you can't mine our information anymore. We own our likeness. So you can't use it for shit. You can't put it out there and use our numbers for shit. Our data can't be used that way anymore. This is how we continue it. This is how we continue to keep control of our own. All we want is control of our likeness. We don't want to control everybody else. We just want to control our own shit. And if they're going to use it to make billions, well, we want a piece of it. And we want to be able to say when. If we don't agree with the type of marketing you do, we want to turn off the flow of that shit. You shouldn't be able to bombard us with it. That's what it does. It makes artificial intelligence human because we're what it is. We're melding into this technology. It's symbiotic. It's either going to be symbiotic just in a dystopian way or in a utopian way. It's going to go one place or the other. It has to. Like, that's the singularity. So if we control rather than a bunch of fucking bots and a bunch of power structures that are selling us shit and teaching us that we fucking hate each other and why we should hate each other. If it's humans aren't going to do that shit. Like, what do we do on an individual? We only fight during fucking political seasons, right? Like, for the most part, that's when people are really at each other's throats. We fight over politics. I mean, and we are programmed, like you said, Sean, we're indoctrinated with, you should hate this. Life should be this way. If we're going to get back to our humanness, it's going to take discipline. And it's going to take a movement like this, or it doesn't have to be this, but it's going to take we need a big movement of the masses working together amongst their differences, stating them, being able to state their differences and not being crucified for them. You know what I mean? Like, being able to work in a collective like that. And when you see it, a visceral pathway or neural pathway will open up. This is what happens in the psychedelic experience. Sean can tell you. When you have that experience, it only has to happen once. Like when I had the out-of-body experience with ketamine and then I wound up in quantum physics and understanding it real well. I've never been the same since that day. It took one time to break through that, and what I was receiving at the time, and this is all hindsight, was unconditional love. I never felt it. I didn't know it existed. I could say the words, but that's what my son was giving me that I was scared of on the surface. I didn't know what that fucking feeling was. Should I run? I was in fight or flight constantly. And then when I had that out-of-body experience, nothing said unconditional love to me. I just knew something about what I was doing was wrong, and it was the deepest truth I'd ever experienced. So if a movement like this is successful, and we do it without bloodshed, and we do it without fucking bashing them and saying, no, we're going to come rescue you guys. Let's get those bad forces out of there. Let's give you another shot. You're going to listen to us, though. You know what I mean? If we can do it that way, we have to. I don't see any other way. Like, if we get aggressive and the name calling starts and all, we're just back in the system, man. It's fucking more of the same shit. What are we doing? You know, it's insanity. We can't.
So I'm reminded and taken. I'm not a religious man. I was raised religious, if you will, but I since had fallen away and found where I'm at, right? So I'm spiritual. I call myself spiritual, and I do believe in a higher power, but it doesn't coincide with organized religion today. I haven't found anything yet. Right. So I'm not agnostic per se, because I would consider myself Christian, but I consider myself Buddhist. I consider myself a shaman in some way. I consider myself Wiccan. There's a lot of things I've studied that, I can't lock in on one or the other. What I can tell you.
Why do you think they all deserve a label
Exactly, Sean, exactly. You nailed it again. I guess what I'm saying though is that the continuity between all of it, between every single enlightened species that's come across and tried to put a label on it, has concluded that the solution is love.
Yeah, and the enlightened species didn't put the label on it. You know, Buddha, Jesus,
Different
they
words,
didn't put the
different
label.
words, but it means the same thing. And it,
Right.
and it
So
is. It's
it was
love
the
thy
humans
neighbor,
that took their
have
message. They made
understanding,
it a
forgive,
label.
live and let live. I mean, you know, how
The
many
golden
songs
rule.
we have to sing around it, right? You know, the Doobie
Golden
Brothers.
rule. Do unto others. Like
Golden
that.
rule,
That
right.
follows all of them.
The golden rule is he who has the gold makes the rules.
That's the gold standard.
Oh man,
Well,
Sean,
nobody has
man,
the gold
I
now,
wish
so
long
it's time
time
for some
ago.
new fucking rules because there's no gold
Yeah.
anymore. We just got paper money floating around. It's valueless. So it's time to
Well,
make some
so
new
look,
rules.
so guys, let's do this. Let's do a 10-minute wrap, right? So let's come to a conclusion here. So I typically try to wrap meetings with next steps, right? Let's figure out what we're doing next, right? So we've got our ticker. We've got some pretty good movement. I mean, 25 signups, man. I think it's 26 now.
It's going. It keeps going. I keep seeing the job form thing pop up. So
Right. So we've got we've got a core group. And I'm telling you, even at 25, 26 people, the number impact makes an impact on those that see it. So if you haven't signed up, sign up, right?
yeah,
Make
do
that
that.
number, right? Please, whoever's listening, whoever's playing this back, please go to WTP.online, sign up, just pump in your name, your email. It's safe. All we want to know is that you're committed to the movement of the idea that people have power. We are the people. We are
our
doing
voices should reign supreme.
our
Not
voice.
money.
Our voice should be heard, and we should be listened to. Now, from a legal standpoint, and all the other stuff, Vince, that's on you. All I can
There's
say is
nothing
that
legal.
we have to get movement. So I would like to have a few minutes of discussion around next steps of how we can move this forward aggressively. Do you need help with posting social media?
Yes.
Do you need help
Yeah,
with?
we need
Oh,
that. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, I can put. But I haven't done anything yet to aggressively. I just did an ask of specific people. It was like 100 people or whatever you can post on Facebook. But the test I wanted to run was: is this messaging? Is it non-offensive or non-triggering enough to pass through Facebook and advertise? It was. It got through. And that means that we pacified the language, but not the message. So people know what we're doing, but the bots don't, right? So because we're going into the limbic system with a different set of words. We don't have to say revolution. I didn't know greed was triggering. If you say that to a rich person, they feel attacked, right? You know what I mean? So
Greed?
yeah, greed. Just the word greed. Dominic told me this, and he's the one who really made me think that fuck. Yeah, well, why should they not? Because they do feel attacked, right? They feel like
because it's the worst sin of all of them.
but there
all
are
seven,
rich
it's the
people who
worst.
aren't greedy, right? So just like when somebody says white privilege or whatever, there's good white, black, there's good everybody, and there's very few bad
But
people,
there's greedy
right?
Right.
It triggers people.
If somebody gets triggered on greed, they should be pretty much watched. I mean, they should be audited
like
that.
because we didn't live their experience, and that's what I'm getting real good at now. Is saying I didn't live that person who stormed the Capitol's experience in life. So I can't really judge them, and I just got to accept that they were angry and pissed off, and I got to let that be what it is.
And that was their time. This was their time to make a statement,
and I can't fault somebody for that. So we got to let bygones be bygones as human beings, and say let's work together on this. And then if we don't work together again, at least we can get nice campaign. It wasn't a corporation that, and I can lose to my neighbor and feel good about it. Like that's healthy competition. They've taken that away from us. So next steps. So here's what everybody gets. And I haven't talked to you guys about it yet. I just on that text. So I talked to Kent last night, and this is what he's willing to give us. He's given us is his software that he designed. That's it's doing his thing over in Nigeria, and it's a dangerous thing that he's doing because he's like he doesn't care about his life.
Hey, Vince, be careful what you talk about right now.
I'm not, I know what I can tell you. We talked about what can be said and what can't be said, so it's not,
Yeah, just
but,
please be careful.
well, I know that. I know it. So he gave us the software. He will train a developer on how to, he said you guys should have a second ticker. On that second ticker, that's where everybody gets to go through the self-sovereign identity process and they get their own self-sovereign identity. This is like an NFT now. There's value here. They're the first ones in America that are going to have, and if we get to 33 million, think of the power we have in terms of just buying power, consumers. We used to have that power until the corporations took over and started killing things like the CPA and whatever. So now, as a collective, we decide how our likeness is used and we're paid for it. You know what I mean? We're not paid all of it. We're not saying we should get Mark Zuckerberg, you went out there, you took all the risk, you built the business. We should get the lion's. No, we get our little share of our likeness. That's power. That's power, and it's not the government trying to redistribute wealth through taxes. Not some fucking shit organization.
Wouldn't you define this as like the new white pages? Remember the white pages?
Well, they are white pages, actually. Yeah, I mean
that doesn't exist anymore. White pages?
Well, yeah, that's what this is. This is white. NFTs
this is the white pages.
It's all free, like Tesla. Like this is all free technology. They're just trying to give it to you because they know.
Imagine each line on a white page as an NFT. This is what we're talking about.
I mean, that's kind of, so I'm starting to understand it more. So We the People is now an NFT. You join We the People, we're going to be creating our own value. Nobody's going to say there's no supply and demand. There's no inflation. The value is non-fungible. Well, for an NFT, it's non-fungible. But the blockchain, when we're creating this blockchain with crypto, you can only have 20 million coins. I didn't know that. That's a fucking, do you know the algorithm there or the formula to where you can never disrupt crypto unless it's an outside force making it look bad, right? So if crypto runs the way it's supposed to, it can't be disrupted. It can never be more than what it is or less than.
The key can be,
it can.
I have a problem.
Somebody can do.
Just so you know, from a tech standpoint, I have a problem. I have a problem with crypto because I know for a fact, and you can mark my words, and I'm glad this is recorded. Crypto will be cracked within the next 5 years by a quantum computer.
Maybe, but
so everything that all the
encryption
that we put in place that we said so secure,
there'll already be another plan by then.
Correct, Sean. There you go, Sean. It won't be called crypto; it'll be called Nipto. You know what I mean?
Like whatever it is, it's advancing in
nano.
You have to realize that just as technology, it's a war.
Yeah.
You know, and
agreed.
There's people on the side of the citizen and the consumer, and the person, and then the government. The government's got their war people, and it's just a fucking battle.
But and there's people in other countries trying
when
to
we
crack
start
it
making
through,
laws.
people in our country.
Oh yeah, I mean, you asked, about the spiritual stuff, and I mean, just look at what's going on in Iran. The whole planet, spiritual awakenings and healings are going on the planet all over the place. Everything is being awakened. It's called the Great Awakening. And, just as the consciousness is awakening and people are awakening, like I think that We the People and the self-sovereign identity stuff is a perfect timing thing. But like, there's like so many things in play on the world right now. And like, I know we don't want violence and everything, but guess what? I'm pretty sure there's going to be there's going to be pockets of violence around the world because it's not just the American government. It's all the governments.
Yeah.
They're all connected.
Who's everybody watch?
Yeah.
Who's everybody watching right now in the world? They're watching America. Everybody is watching America, and there's these governments that are ready to get
why are they watching us? What do you mean? What are we doing?
Because we're still the superpower. We're the ones with all the technology.
Oh man, we've lost. We're fucking 15th on everything.
We're still the land of
Sweden and Netherlands and the rest of them. They got us beat on education, healthcare,
None of that
Yeah.
matters.
name
I'm
it,
saying, I'm saying there's a
happiness.
reason that
I mean-
any factor.
every
The only,
regime that
the
wants
only
to go-
thing that we are the top in is bombs.
Yes,
We have the
fucking
most
I will say
bombs.
one
We
thing.
fucking are. We have
I
all
will
the
say
nukes.
one
We are
thing.
still the super fucking power. We
Look,
still are.
There's one
That
That
thing
just
that
means we're the
Americans
biggest
do.
bully, man. We're the
There's-
biggest
there's-
bully. I got
there's
the
one
biggest
thing-
dick.
there's one-
Seriously.
We're the fucking
My
bullies,
bombs
so
are
we're
the
bullies.
biggest. Sorry,
Yeah,
Sean.
Americans do
So-
one thing real good is they run their mouth. You know, there's a lot of people dying from the booster right now. And, you know, it's
Totally true.
very loud. It's very loud. And also, what you don't hear is that the Japanese are having huge reactions to the boosters and the vaccinations. Like, you don't hear that a lot, but like I
hear
know
that.
people.
Hold on, go. I didn't hear that because my parents called me every other day and said, get a vaccine. Now, look,
So-
I'm not an anti-vaxxer, okay?
I'm not either. I'm not either. I'm
But
just
I
saying.
didn't get the vaccine and I've been shamed. I have been shamed numerous
the thing
times for
is,
the vaccine.
the thing is, I got the first one.
For doing
I
what
got
they
the
thought was
first
best for
one.
themselves.
Get
But-
any of
What's going on is like a lot of the boosters. Check this out. All the boosters that came out, all the data and all the stuff that was written about the booster is sealed for the next 75 years. So
I should have
you're,
Dr. Terry back on.
what?
yeah, like
Not-
I
that's
can't, like
not
you
true.
can't,
That's
you
not
cannot
true.
read, you cannot read the
might be.
research or the data on the
No.
boosters.
Freedom. Okay, so we have a new
This
mission.
is where we get
We the
fucking
people,
power
new
back.
mission.
So the government
That
has,
shit's coming
the
out.
government and
It's the
big
same
pharma
mission,
have
Jack.
sealed that
No,
stuff.
nope. That's
It's
our
the same
info.
fucking
We
mission.
paid
If we
for.
take control.
We paid for it.
My fucking God.
Go find
If
it.
we take control. Yes, we do pay for it. So let's
We
take
paid
it back.
for it.
So let's fucking take it back. This is the same mission. It's all the same
You
shit.
can't keep
If-
that info
what
from
the
me.
fuck,
That's
dude?
my info. I
I
will
hope everybody else
evaluate it and
understands
make
what
it
the
an
fucking mission
educated
is.
decision on the
Instead of all the
information
fucking fodder.
that is available today.
Do you
Today, not
understand
in
it's the same
75
mission?
years.
Do you understand that we the people is the same fucking thing? That it allows us to grab those documents and vote
This
on
is
them?
what I'm saying. It's just driving me nuts. Sean, you
Let's
can't
get
say
to the
this kind of
core.
shit to me.
Let's get to the fucking core.
Look,
Let's get the
I'm just
profits out of
relaying the
politics.
truth. I'm only speaking the truth.
Somebody pour me a shot.
And here's the other truth. If we don't get the fucking profits out of, if we don't take the control away from the greed, let's call it the money interest, if we don't do that, we'll never get access to our information. We won't, because they'll have the control. That's all this is. A very organic approach to getting profit out of politics so that our votes matter. Once again.
You guys got to stop pissing me off. I was in
No,
a good mood.
He's
I
not
was
pissing
in
you
a
off. He's
good
just telling
mood.
you
I
shit.
was having a great
He's
time.
just telling you things.
Hey, I think that's
I
10
don't-
minutes.
I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to hear this anymore.
I
So
think that's
here-
10 minutes, and I think you can go pour yourself a double now.
Jesus.
Triple, maybe triple.
All right, guys.
So here's what people get. Here's what people get. You're going to get self-sovereign identity. We're not going to confuse people with what that is right now. All it is, where you go into Facebook, you sign their terms and conditions. That's flipped now. Now they sign your terms and conditions because you own your likeness. It's how it should be, right? That's how it should be. We should own our likeness, and we should be able to do with it what we choose. And if you go to jail, you commit a crime, that's going to be on your record. You have to do something now to wipe that off. Nobody can use that against you in a way that's they can't keep people in this fucking system because the system doesn't exist because we're voting on it. The problem is our votes don't matter. They give us issues, we argue over them, nothing happens. And then they're making these policies, they're doing what Sean said. They're sealing fucking documents that we should have. The Kennedy document, who the fuck said? You seal those fucking things for 30 fucking years? Who the fuck would allow that if our votes mattered? Nobody.
No, they're
There's no
still
human on the
sealed.
planet that would say,
They're
yeah, go ahead
still
and do that.
sealed, Vince. Let's just be clear. All the JFK stuff is still classified, and whatever has been declassified has been blacked out.
Yeah,
You don't
blacked
know
out.
shit.
You can do it.
I see it when I'm
It's
dealing with
useless.
insurance, how they black out what your claim is when they first go out there. If they're allowed to black it out, I'm like, how the fuck can you black out what the
National
they
security.
told you
And by the way, who
the
knows
value
it?
is?
And we'll be watching a documentary in 10 years from now with some ass fuck like Snowden, whoever else, right? Assange, that actually says I actually saw the documents before they were blacked out, and holy shit, it was, Bernie Madoff and, Epstein and Clinton. You know what I mean? Like, let's give me
You understand that
names.
we have
Let's
access
give me
to
names in
everything
there.
that we
That's gonna blow your
control.
fucking mind. And they're and then we're gonna say, right or wrong, holy crap, the conspiracies were right, or
Well, it's just like Chase
holy
Bank.
crap, it was George Bush the whole time.
So
But
Chase
here's the
Bank,
kicker.
Chase Bank covered up a bunch of stuff around the Epstein case, and they deleted a ton of stuff.
Oh, he had so much garbage on everybody. Are you
I
kidding
know,
me?
but the thing
That
is,
guy got everybody
Epstein
laid.
was running it through
Let's
Chase Bank.
not fool. Nobody's fooling anybody. That guy everybody laid. Everybody got laid
but-
on that island.
Chase Bank was able to get rid of a lot of documents that incriminated themselves.
Here's the
They were
kicker.
doing money laundering
Because he
for
got
the sex
everybody
trafficking.
laid on that island with 18.
We are not going to be angry anymore if we get control of what's ours. That's
Jamie
the thing.
died
We're not gonna-
He killed
on that island,
himself.
too.
That guy
What's that?
killed himself, and I'm glad he did.
Who fucking
He'd not
cares?
kill
I mean, it's
himself.
irrelevant. It's irrelevant to
Oh,
life.
hold on a second. No, wait a second. We need 2 minutes on this conversation. Bullshit. Sean, tell me what you just said. He didn't
I
kill
said he
himself.
did not kill himself.
Oh my God, you're not gonna say that. Are you serious?
You motherfuckers, this is why shit don't get
All right,
done.
go.
Right here, because we argue
hear it. I
about
wanna
this
hear
dumb
it.
shit.
Sean, go.
Who
I wanna
fucking
hear
cares
it.
what we did?
Even the autopsy report said it was inconsistent of a hanging. They must have not paid him off good enough.
Where'd his body go?
Oh, the body's
Who
still
cares?
there, but like
Okay, so
I
did he
think
die?
a couple
Is he
guys
dead?
came in and
So let's just guide people to
Is
the Epstein
Epstein
case to have
dead?
them
The
argue over
question
that.
is Epstein dead?
oh yeah, he's dead. He's
Okay,
dead. He was
all right.
clipped. He was clipped. The government killed him.
Who cares?
He
don't give a
deserved
fuck.
it. He deserved
Who
it.
cares? See, let's not direct our energy to some nonsense like that. Let's fucking direct it to fucking showing our power on a ticker, showing how much of this economy we actually own. That's what we own. That's our ownership.
I
We
like
get
to
to
talk
show our
shit about
ownership.
the government
What's that?
as much as I can.
Can we
What?
And
have a whole?
Epstein
I want another
obviously,
episode, Sean. I'm fully engaged. I want another episode dedicated to that conversation, government and otherwise, because you
Fucking
Who has
A.
that kind of
triggered
time
me.
in their life?
And it's not that I'm not arguing. I'm blown away, and I believe you, but I'm gonna fact check you. So it would be a great
Take your
show
fact check
for
and
you to
put it on
get
the
me
ticker.
because and like like
Take your fact
I'll
check
do
and put
my
it on the
thing
ticker.
and-
Put it to something valuable.
yeah.
Before we sit here and argue about shit
I
that
gotta
don't
know.
matter, let's.
There's no
Epstein's
way.
dead, but
You're
they
you're
killed his
saying
ass.
Epstein was killed by the government.
Yes,
Who fucking cares?
100%,
It
100%,
matters, Vince.
100%.
It matters.
What are you gonna do with that
100%,
information? You get
100%.
the information right now. What the
Fuck,
fuck does
that
that
can't
change?
be true. If that motherfucker was killed by the government, we're fucked.
Dude, you
He-
really,
he
we've
covered
been
up.
fucked, dude.
He
We've been
co-
fucked. So all this
He
information
covered up
doesn't
for
matter
so
how
many
it comes
people.
back.
He got all their
It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that we put our energy into showing what our ownership is. That's what matters. Nothing else matters right now. All that matters is that we take our country back and our votes start to matter. Who killed fucking? We know they're nefarious. We know
they
that.
killed Kennedy.
But we
Right,
don't know.
yeah.
We don't even the details. What the fuck do the details matter? We just know something's wrong, right? We can all agree on that. Something's
You
fucking
don't hide
wrong.
anything. If there was
I
nothing
think
to hide,
it's
you don't
important.
hide it.
I think it's important to understand the level that the government will go to pull this shit. You know?
People that, don't
I
they?
mean, 3 weeks ago, you was talking about getting assassinated, Vince. So, like, I like to know my enemy. And like
Who was talking about being assassinated?
Me.
Vince was.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
Vince,
know
shut
that.
up,
Well,
dude.
that's because I know they're there.
Oh, like
I'm
you're
not,
like
but
nobody gives a shit
I'm not
about
going to waste
you,
my
Vince.
time
So
fucking trying
stop
to
it.
figure out who they are. I
Yeah,
just know they're
nobody's coming to assassinate you, brother.
there.
No, at 25 signups, you're okay, brother. Just wait.
I'm not fucking worried about the 25 signups. I'm worried about if it happens, and I'm not really worried because if I was worried, I wouldn't be doing
Listen,
it.
just because a parent stopped in a Cadillac Escalade to pick up their kid across the street doesn't mean you're getting tracked by the, Secret Service.
Dude, you're fucking. So this is from a person who doesn't believe Epstein was fucking killed by the government. So from that person, it's
That's
it's
a good
irrelevant.
one, Vince. That's
I
a
mean,
good
it's
one.
true. So you're trapped in a little bit of a bubble there, bud. Yeah, no, it wasn't a Cadillac Escalade either. It was but this is coming from a guy who's been
Well,
telling.
It was a black Suburban.
they had blacked out windows.
And when the kids notice it, then I start to believe it a little bit more. I'm like, what you saw that? When they point it out, then it's like, all right, well,
You hear
but I
this?
don't care.
You hear
It
this?
doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter.
I'm
None
gonna
of that-
send you some.
idea
I'm gonna
of,
send you some Facebook links to some news stories about Trump and Biden and Obama. Oh my God, it's all Obama's fault. Nobody's coming after you, Vince. Nobody.
I don't fucking care. It's like you're trying to say something like it's irrelevant to me. What we're talking about is fucking irrelevant, just like Epstein is.
Nobody's.
I care about doing something. I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Nobody's
I
coming
say
after you.
it tongue in cheek. I don't fucking care. But
Okay.
we do know what happens to people that stand against those forces in a big way. So right now, it don't fucking matter. But if you're saying something that's penetrating their bots, you're targeted on them. They should have got the GameStop kids. You know what I mean? They missed them. So you don't think they tightened down on their fucking security after that? They did.
Oh yeah.
It's
I mean,
only
dude,
when you get big
dude,
that they watch. They see.
we're definitely being monitored. We're
Of
being
course.
monitored for sure.
Well, this is
Everybody
being
is.
monitored right now. This is going to be watched in
Don't
perpetuity.
contradict yourself, Zach. There might be a Fed sitting out there. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, everybody, go visit Flip. Let me get a plug real quick. So Flip.
let's
So
not-
we
that's how
so
we
we
get
could use
caught up
Flip
in shit
for.
that doesn't matter. Whether
get a plug
fucking
real
somebody's
quick.
following me or not is irrelevant.
I came in here to plug Flip.
And who follows shit anyway? That's fucking archaic. Like, we got fucking satellites you can extract a tooth from. What the fuck are you following somebody for? That's probably some insurance agent whose books I fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably what the fuck that is. Like, they do that shit. They follow people to see if their neck's really hurting. You know?
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
Hashtag Tom Petty.
Mr. Chaos.
Fucking- Anyway, so we're doing the thing. We gotta fucking stay on our message. What's our message? We have power, but it's not the kind of power where we're not gonna win with guns. Keep your fucking guns. They don't matter. They can extract your fucking tooth from space. You know what I mean? It's good to have in your house so nobody can come in there. But where we win out there now is the only power we have is that we keep our money. We don't give it to them to fuck us in our ass any longer. You know what I mean? Like, we keep paying them to fuck us. We pay them more and more every year to fuck us harder. We got to stop paying them. It's just that simple. Like, we can stop
pretty
going to 7-Eleven because we don't like how the guy treats us.
All right.
So Vince, I would recommend, right, as next steps, to focus on what you just said as one of the main things that you repeat over and over again. We are a non-violent group that it's going to use our financial power as a total,
Our economic impact is
our economic impact to guide the system like lobbyists do, because that's what they do.
As a collective.
If you're as a collective. So
Yeah,
we become
that's
the
exactly
people,
it.
we become the people lobby.
That's what we are. That's exactly what we are.
I'm trying to make it as clear as possible.
Yeah,
That's all.
that's the message. It's
We
not
are the
message,
people's
action.
lobby.
Yeah, we're lobbying for the people.
And
we always-
our impact is our spend.
it's our
And
spend.
don't fuck with me, because every day, month, or year, I'll show you what I'll do.
And that's the
Don't-
thing.
don't fuck
that's the
with
play. So
You hear me?
we may not even get there because
AARP. That bitch.
why do you like the old people group so much?
Because I'm old.
But, well, I mean,
All right,
so,
I'm out. I'm out.
We lost
I'm
Glenn
out
on
too,
tech.
man. I've had a
I'm
great
out.
conversation.
I'm going to tell people after you guys go. I'm going to tell them what they're getting on this.
Yeah,
SSI.
yeah. Do you have
So,
anybody watching?
I don't know. I don't know how to do this shit. So yeah, there's people, there's comments and shit. but I don't-
It's recorded, so whatever.
yeah, it's
Vince,
recorded.
good to see you, man. I'm sorry I was so late, but
That's all right.
really great conversation. I hope you and Sean had a good conversation before I came. So
We did, and then Glenn was on for a minute, then he got kicked off, and Tom's fucking, I don't know. So, but that's all right, because what we got to was the human part of this. We didn't get so.
well,
far from
let's do it again. And truth be told, this was a working session, and I think we can move forward with your idea on a very, systematic approach.
Yeah.
So keep it going.
And I like working sessions in plain view. We're not hiding anything. This is
No.
what we're thinking. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? This is
moving
what we're thinking.
forward.
We're telling you what we're gonna do if you don't
Give us
listen.
feedback. Again, anybody who plays this back, please give feedback in the comments. Please send comments to Vince. For that matter, me, I don't care.
And
But
we don't
Vince-
want to care how dreamy Zach is anymore. We don't need any more of those fucking comments. You keep those to yourself.
Right.
Tell us,
Well,
please.
I'm rough around the edges. But anyways, yeah. WTP.online. Sign
Go there
up.
tonight. Sign
up.
Find somebody in your family that you disagree with
It's not-
politically.
it means nothing. It's a name and an email. Sign up.
Well, it means something,
Watch.
but it doesn't take anything from you. No, it takes zero
Yeah.
energy. Well, it takes a fraction of energy. You don't have to volunteer. We're not
We
asking
just
for your
need to
money.
know that you're part of the cause. That's it.
That's
And
it.
that you're tired of the waste of money spent, right? That's my whole big thing. Money
Yeah.
spent. Wasted.
We're not being represented.
Two-party
We're taking our
system,
taxes.
no good. Yep, we gotta
So-
widen it up
so-
and then cap finance spend. Whatever they did, like
the
whatever it
way-
was 6 years ago, man, that's gotta be overturned.
It's fucking insane that they can spend $500 million.
I
on a
can't
fucking
believe
runoff
what they
down in Georgia.
passed.
What the fuck?
It's criminal. It's criminal.
It is criminal. It's fucking criminal. It's
I
criminal.
can't believe it's 501s they're called. 501Cs or something.
Well, 501c3s aren't criminal, only if you're a criminal. You can make them. You can
No,
make any
man, you
corporation
can't.
criminal.
You can't spend $1 million in ads on like
And it's nonprofit.
paid for by so and so, but this guy's an asshole. You
No,
can't do that.
right, so-
You can't do that. Like this guy's an asshole, paid for by some other asshole. You can't do
So-
that.
So that's the whole play here. We cap spend. We can't. Citizens United said we can't cap what money comes in. You can get all the money you want, motherfucker, but you're only spending 50 million on a run. So fuck off. And in the primary, the top 5 candidates that have risen to the top.
Top 5. Yeah, I
we
like
cap-
I like 5. You had said 3 before. 3.
No, I said 5. It's always been 5.
5?
It's based on the
Yeah.
5 census.
Yeah, 5 sounds good. Yeah, the chakras.
Yeah, it's based on the 5 census. So we're not
Yeah.
getting enough information through. The
Yeah.
reason they're sets is because we have two. You're trying to put it into
Yeah.
2, black and white. It's not. I'm
Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey. It's just no.
And by the way, elect the head. Always elect the head. You never
Okay.
want to. You never want to elect the chakra down there. You never
Oh,
want.
you stay away from the root. Well, sometimes it depends on. The
Oh,
night.
well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
Friday.
it depends on the night. You might need that root.
Friday
root
nights.
chakra. All right,
Welcome
on
to
that
that
note, we're gonna fuck
chakra.
out of here. I gotta go make some
All right,
phone
good
calls.
night, brother. I love you.
All right, brother. I'll see you.
Yeah.
Dave, good job on that ticker.
All right.
It's fucking amazing. It is amazing, actually. So I'm gonna spend a couple minutes here, and I'm gonna see. We need fucking Jamie. We need a tech person who can control the flow of information. This is gonna take off. It's gonna take off, and I can't do it. Now that's one area where I'm weakest. Is I can't even follow the comments on this shit because I get engaged in the conversation, and then oh shit, people are signing out. I don't know this person. Fucking love it. Like I love it. This is happening ever since we posted it. This people are just joining because why would you not? Why would you not? This is the most loving way we can tell somebody in our family, the government. We can tell them we don't like what you're doing. We're not going to punish you. We're not going to call you names. We're not stand out here with guns and threaten you. We're just not going to buy your bullshit. We're not going to buy it. And we're going to be over here doing our thing. You let us know if you want to come play again, but we're done. You know, you do it with bullies. And that's what they are right now. They're fucking bullies. So you go play over there. We're going to stay in this group and we're going to be happy. If you want to come back and play, we'll let you. We're not saying you're ostracized, not forever, but you're going to come back under our terms. And those terms are the group, the collective. We don't do greed. We don't do zero-sum games, right? Like that's got to be dead. Somebody can't always be losing for somebody to gain. It doesn't have to be that way. There's a win-win in everything we do. There's just not in this system. So we change it. I mean, I don't mean to oversimplify, but that's really it. Like fucking, we get 33 million people on this ticker. That's $104 billion of economic impact. That's what we own of this economy a month. Do the math. How long do you think? So we stop buying the day they don't put a cap. And I don't even want to talk like this. We don't even have to be aggressive with this. We don't even. We should. I don't even think we should be talking about the play that comes if they disregard our voice. I think if we get to 33 million, they might not disregard our voice. It might be time for this. We just got to show that that we mean it. So I'm in. You know, like I don't need to do this, right? I mean, I got a lot of things going on right now. My company just went international. It's $1 billion play, $1 billion play. I mean, there's somebody asked me, why am I not sitting on a boat? It's not ready yet, but within a year, I probably could spend the rest of my life on a fucking boat or traveling around and just, you know, sucking up resources. That's the way I look at it. I'll do both. You know, I'll party just as hard as I play. See that? Freudian slip. I work as hard as I play, and I think that's important to have that balance. It can't be all one way. But there's no value in just gobbling up resources and getting fat and fucking, you know, doing nothing with what you've accumulated. Like there's a lot of things that have fallen into my lap for I don't believe it's by mistake, you know, just things that from an outsider's perspective, even mine, like, what the fuck? Why do I have this? Why did that matter? It came from, everything I have came from integrity. Even when I was committing crimes, international drug trafficking, I always had there was a code. I had a code. I just wasn't gonna lie to anybody in that space. I wasn't gonna, there was a moral code that I had that I followed. There came a point in my life where I started selling some of that off bit by bit. Never fully lost it, but you get confused when you're growing up. It's kind of like the fucking insurrection and everything else. Look, you get pissed, you do stupid shit. That's human. For any fucking buddy to be judging another human based on the fact that they're pissed at this government, no matter what side we're all on the same side. That's the fucking thing. We're all on the same side. So stop fucking pointing your fingers at one another and point it at that White House. Point it at that stock exchange, and then do something about it. Fucking do something about it. Like this, we got the opportunity right now before the flow of information gets shut down, and it will. It's going to happen. This is what happens. They've already done this net neutrality shit. I don't know if any of you guys notice how your fucking internet's constantly jacked up. Neutrality, my ass. So they're already working on it. You know, Elon. That's our guy. You know what I mean? He's got everything set up to where if we got to make this play, we'll have our energy. We don't have to do GT. We don't have to do ExxonMobil. We're working on it. So sign a ticker. That's the most important thing you can do right now. And just let us do what we're going to do with your support. That's all we need. We don't need your money. We don't need you to volunteer. You can. We could use a fucking tech guy. Jamie, is there a Jamie out there? We need a developer right now, like big time, so we can get this second ticker set up, which will get you self-sovereign identity. You want that? Trust me. If for babies that haven't been born yet, this is establishing who they are throughout their entire life. If Facebook has those pictures out there and the likeness to the baby, and Zuckerberg, I'm not villainizing Zuckerberg, but the stockholders there are making billions of dollars on the likeness of all these different babies, which they do. Well, that baby deserves some of that, you know, and this is what it does. You get a share of that revenue, right? Because we can demand those terms, and they can only use our likeness in the way that we say. They can't just fucking whore us out there to any buyer. Like, so you want self-sovereign identity. If we don't have self-sovereign identity in the age of information, it's dystopia. It's just going to be that way. So this is the solution for now. right? This is how we get there. This is how we get control of our votes. This is how we get control of our livelihood. We lost control of our livelihood, and we're stuck in this system of fear, lack, limitation, living paycheck to paycheck, credit scores and shit like that. And you know, we're fighting hard to maintain something that's about to blow up in our fucking faces. It's not going to matter because it doesn't. Because the systems that we trusted, they never cared, right? Like they never cared. It was all about them and accumulating those are the resource hoarders. It's time to take it back. And that's all I got to say about that. In the immortal words of Forrest Gump, I am not a smart man. I am not a smart man, Jenny. But I do know that self-sovereign identity and we the people go together like peas and carrots. And it's time. It's time. Fucking sign the ticker and sign it with somebody you disagree with politically that you love, because their voice matters just as much as your voice matters. I can tell you where it don't matter in a two-party system that quashes it for everybody. But in a system where you can have any parties rise to the top through popular vote, blockchain voting, now your voice does matter. Now a kid off the street in Hazel Park, where I'm from, or Detroit, where I'm from, they can look at a system that's shitty, because it wasn't real hard to see that as a kid. You just didn't think you could do anything because it was so massive. You should be able to do something. That's what this fucking country was founded on. This is how we take that back. This is how we the people becomes verbatim. There's a group of people that were immediately ostracized from that Constitution, fucking as soon as it was signed. Like, you know, black people were slaves, and it said we the people. We need to get the integrity of those words and at least let them play out once. You know what I mean? Like, get integrity. We can do it. We can do it. I believe it. But it's not going to be my belief that carries anything. It's just, I'm just a mouthpiece right now. So it's going to be yours. It's going to be your belief in the human condition that we can take this thing to the next level. It's really not that difficult. 33 million fuckers can watch Kim Kardashian's ass and break the fucking internet. If we can't break the internet for our livelihood, for our future, for our kids, for our friends and family, for that voice that we're out there voicing when it really doesn't fucking matter because you've been given issues to fucking yell about and you're not going to get anything anyway. Let's make it matter. We the people. The ticker's on there. I dropped a comment. Give me a tech fucking person. Give me a tech person so they can start fielding these things out. I don't know how to do that shit, but I do know I do know how to get under the skin of the powers that be. And we're doing it, and we're getting out there. So, all right, we the people, fucking human condition. I don't need to say my name. I'm just a dude. A dude. I love you guys. Peace out.